What's your method for risk management and money management?
Yeah, it comes back to only risking a small amount per trade. So always risk just a very, 1% or less. It's a cliche of your total capital. So if you had £1,000 in your account, then only risk £10 on maximum, let's say, on a trade. So it means that emotionally, you're not going to be too distant-hearted as a result of a single trade or even of having a few losing trades. So by just risking that amount. If you look at a lot of money managers, they're risking 0.2 of 1% or so. And yet you get the public out there trading and they're risking 5%. And you think, well, who's got this right and who's got it wrong? So yeah, a small amount, it means you're less inclined to be emotional on the trade. You're not going to be too over-attached. When you get too attached to a trade, you're watching it every night. You can't sleep at night if it's a swing trade because you've just got too big a position on. If you can put a position on that you really don't care about, you're much more likely to trade it well. And what I mean by that is you'll allow it to run to target. You're not going to aggressively move your stops up too much through fear of giving some profits back. All those mistakes that traders make, you're less likely to make those mistakes because you're not too emotionally attached to the trade.
In terms of money management, when you go into a trade, do you ever have an idea of when you're going to come out of it?
Yeah, I'm a target-based trader. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can have, some traders out there who will just get into a trade and just trail their stops up behind the market until eventually it stops them out. But I tend to find trading opportunities where I do have a defined target level which I'm looking for price to run to. So it does limit my upside, but at the same time I'm still looking for good risk to reward opportunities. So it might still be a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, or sometimes you even get a 1 to 20 trade that comes along now and again, risk to reward. And so I'm still quite happy to run targets like that.
Do you ever average down into a losing trade?
No, but I've done it. Most traders have done it at some stage in their trading careers. So yes, I have been there. In fact, that very first trade, like I said, or in that first year, should I say, where I lost $250,000, I was averaging down into that because I thought it made sense at the time. Obviously it didn't. I learned a lot then.
If you've had like a really rubbish day, what do you do to not to absorb that feeling of I've had too many losses, it's been a rubbish day? Do you go for a walk? Do you just take a couple of days off? What do you do?
Well, I do advise traders if they have a bad trade, and I'll move on to why I don't, to sometimes take a couple of days off. It's a really good thing to do because it just enables you to cool your jets a little bit and everything comes into perspective. When you're in the thick of things, you just had, let's say, I don't know, a few losing trades in a single day, for example, or a week if you're a swing trader, then the emotions are running raw, especially if you're newer. And when I say newer, you could be someone who's been trading up to a few years. But like as I was saying previously, when you develop that thick skin, you just shrug it off. And so even if I have a bad day, I don't feel the need to go out for a walk or anything like that. No, not really, because it's just another day. You've been doing it for 18 years. I've had many days like that, and you're just so used to it. It's just a day. It's not even necessarily seen to be a bad day. Yeah, I lost a few thousand today. It's not a big deal. But I am a big believer in sport or exercise anyway. And so I do think that if you regularly exercise, it helps with the brain and temper stress levels anyway. So if I didn't do any exercise, would I deal with these situations differently? I don't know.